Welcome to another show of DarkEcho Stories, where we upload audio horror story every day for horror video enthusiasts. Today's story source is from a storybook. Like our video for more recommendations and subscribe to be a member of our channel. Your support means a lot. Turn on subtitle if you want to read this story, and turn on True Horror Story playlist to listen so many interesting stories one after another to fall asleep. The night a demon came through my window. It was the middle of a moonless night, and my bedroom was swallowed by an eerie silence. No wind whispered through the trees. The crickets, usually loud, were nowhere to be heard. I lay on my back, staring at the ceiling, shadows from the street lamp dancing across the walls. My window was cracked open just enough to let in a thin stream of night air, but it felt strange, heavy and suffocating, as if it carried a warning. The uneasy feeling pressed down on me, thick enough to make my chest tighten. I turned to check the clock. It read 3:07 a.m. I sighed and closed my eyes, hoping for sleep. Then I heard it first. It was faint, a slow, deliberate scratching on the window pane. My heart stalled, then thudded painfully against my ribs. The sound wasn't natural. It was too steady, too deliberate. Like claws dragging across glass. I opened my eyes, staring at the window without moving a muscle. Maybe it was just a branch brushing against the house. Or a bird. My mind scrambled for explanations, but none felt right. The scratching grew louder. Then, without warning, it stopped. I waited, holding my breath, straining to hear any other sounds. The silence stretched out unbearably. And I was just about to convince myself I'd imagined it when the window slid open. My eyes widened as cold air rushed in, but the air wasn't the worst part. Darkness spilled into the room, thick and unnatural, as if the night itself was crawling inside. Something moved. A tall figure stepped through the window, its movements too fluid and silent to be human. Its eyes glowed a dull, sickly yellow. My breath hitched. Its thin, twisted frame was covered in dark, leathery skin, and its hands ended in sharp, claw-like nails. My instinct screamed at me to run, but I was frozen in place. "Hello, little one," the creature asked, its voice low and rough like gravel being ground beneath a heavy boot. It stepped closer, its yellow eyes locked onto mine. "Who are you?" I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. My back pressed hard against the headboard. The creature tilted its head, a grotesque smile spreading across its face to reveal jagged, uneven teeth. "You called me," it said softly. "I come when the window is left open." "No." I shook my head furiously. "I didn't call anyone." My words sounded desperate, even to me. The creature's eyes gleamed with amusement. "Oh, but you did. Whether you meant to or not." It took another step closer. The floor didn't creak beneath its feet. It was like it didn't weigh anything at all. "I come for those who are lonely, those who whisper their fears to the night." "And your window," it paused, grinning wider. "Your window invited me." I felt my throat close up. My mind raced for a way out, but I couldn't move. "What do you want?" I managed to choke out. It leaned down, its face inches from mine. Its breath was cold and smelled of rot. "To make you mine. To take what you've given." Panic exploded in my chest. "No. You can't." I tried to push myself out of bed, but the creature's long arm shot out, pinning me in place with terrifying ease. Its grip burned, icy and electric all at once. "You left the window open," it hissed. "Now you belong to me." Desperation flared inside me. "No, I'm not yours," I shouted, struggling against its grasp. "Go away." For a moment, its yellow eyes flickered. It hesitated. My heart pounded with wild hope. Maybe it wasn't as strong as it seemed. Maybe there was a way to drive it back. "I never invited you." I yelled again, louder this time. "You don't belong here." The creature's grin faded. Its eyes narrowed into slits. "Words won't save you," it growled. But there was something uncertain in its tone now. Summoning every ounce of courage I had, I glared at it. "You can't take me if I don't let you." It hissed, its claws tightening for a brief, agonizing second. But then, slowly, it began to pull back. Its form flickered, like smoke caught in a gust of wind. "This isn't over," it snarled. "I will return." The darkness that had filled the room seemed to ripple, and then the creature slipped back through the window. Its glowing eyes were the last thing I saw before it disappeared into the night. The window slammed shut on its own, and the silence returned. For a long time, I stayed frozen, my heart hammering in my chest. Then I moved, rushing to the window and locking it tight. My hands shook as I shoved a chair against the frame for good measure. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The shadows on my walls seemed darker than before, and every creak of the house sent my nerves sparking. By morning, the creature's presence felt like a nightmare. But when I looked at my wrist, there was a thin, red mark where its claws had held me. A reminder that it had been real, and as I stood there, staring at the mark, I made a promise to myself that I would never leave the window open again. How was this story? If you have turned on the playlist, next today is right on the way. Wait for next story tomorrow.